Hi, welcome to my channel, Gigi's Altered Objects. This is the second book I've been working on for my customer who asked for the Harry Potter book, which I did finish the cover at the end of the video. I'll show you that. So this book was for the theme of Wings of Fire, and I'm not very familiar with that series at all, so I began by getting a couple books and perusing through them and figuring out the gist of the story. So there are 3 dragon queens, and different types of dragons are aligned with different queens, and there are wars going on. There's a prophecy that 5 dragonettes will come forth and help stop the wars. And during the series, the dragons, the young dragons, are also learning life lessons about friendship and love and good and evil and loyalty. So it's a cute series. So let's start with the cover. One of the books had this dragon on it, and so I fussy cut that with the title Wings of Fire and added some different floral elements because this particular dragon's habitat is the rainforest. Each type of dragon has a different type of habitat. On the spine, I made a little jar. The dragon's orange and green, so I used some orange stones in that one. This cool dragon I found at Michael's. I used another one in the book, and from my stash I found this wing. I thought that was apropos because Wings of Fire. I added some silver filigree there. I added some silver corners to the front and the back. And for my closure, I chose this ribbon just as a tie because I just thought it was gorgeous and it worked so well with the material. So here we have the first page. These types of dragons that you'll see throughout the book came from the actual book Wings of Fire. You can see I have cut it apart. I've torn out all of the beginning pages because they had each of the dragons. Of course, they were front and back, so it took 2 books to get front and back. So you can see how thin this paper is. I backed them on some black cardstock, covered them with glossy accents actually I painted them first, and then some glossy accents to help give them some firmness, and added stickles for a little extra color. So each of these was done, it probably took about 10 hours just to complete all of these dragons, one from each family. So here is a partial map. I used the side that has, this is a magnet that lifts up, the Ice Kingdom, because I wanted a castle, and I looked at the castle here, and that looked like probably the best one that I could create for this side of the page. There's a little pocket with some wing brads, and these dragons came in different colors. I ordered them from Etsy. This is the description of the Ice Wing dragon, and it's a little booklet for photographs or journaling. And it tucks right in the pocket here. On this side we have a magnet closure, and here is a dragon with a chain. Part of the book where I read there was this poor dragon who was chained down, and so I thought I would add that as a little element. The little eyes poking under here, that represents the dragonettes. From what I gathered, they were in a secluded cave area, and so this just kind of looked like them poking out even though it is the castle. You open it up, and I made some tags out of some of the pages of the book and matted them on the same paper as I used for the background. That was a mystical paper that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. And then there are some dragon stickers that I got from Etsy. This purple dragon here, another one from that Etsy collection. So this tag has a little pocket in it with a couple little tags, and then we have an envelope with a little brad and a tag inside of it, And I colored the tags with Distress ink by Tim Holtz, and I did that as well to the little white tag inside. All right, on the next page, I made some flowers and added stickles around the outside. And here we have representation of the sea wing dragon and the rain wing dragon. When I read their descriptions, I tried to color them in the colors that seemed most appropriate. Each side there's a tag and a little booklet that has the the description bratted down. And then inside I colored the edges with the Tim Holtz distressed inks. And it opens up this way, each side does. And you have more tags from Etsy. Another thing I found was a package of dragons, and these dragons do have fairies in them, and from what I've read, there are no fairies actually in this book, but I was trying to find everything with dragons I could. I chose not to use any of the charms that were fairies, but the cards were so cute, I thought for sure she could use them for something. So I included those since I purchased them for the book. And on the outside covers of the book, there were the little tiny covers. So I used those in some places as stickers, and in some places I used them as little booklets. And here is the prophecy about the dragonettes, and it gives a description of the eggs that you can find. Here is a little one of the Etsy dragons that I put a magnet on, so she could put a photograph there if she'd like to. This opens up, and there is a photo mat, an envelope, there's a little booklet, another envelope with a tag, and another one of the stickers. And there's also a magnet here for a photograph to be attached. So on this side, I tried to create the eggs as closely as I could to the descriptions. For instance, one of them says that if you dig in the mud, you'll find an egg the color of dragon's blood. So I found this shiny red paper. This is actually one of the Tim Holtz magnetic sheets. I used several of those in this project. So it's the Ideology Metallic collection. Okay, and I'll include that in the description box below. So I did that, and then there was a little egg die cut like this. So I got that probably from Etsy as well to create a little pocket on each of the eggs for little secret stuff. And then the eggs have a magnet behind them, so they just kind of stick behind the feathers, and it just looked festive. And I love this. It doesn't actually have a dragon's head, but it has the wings and the eye, and I just thought that that was mystical, just mystical enough for this book. And same as the other side, only this one opens down, the other one opens up. And we have another photo mat instead of a magnet. This one has a clip. And again, there's an envelope, there's a little booklet, and there's another envelope with a tag. This one I fussy cut the dragon on, the other one I fussy cut the fairy. And both of those pages stay closed with magnets. All right, and then we open up to this side. Let me move the book over. And here I have this fancy little paper clip that holds the fold down. And this little dragon is removable. It's just a little tuck space for the dragon or a photo or whatever you want to put back there. It could be memorabilia. And then it opens up, let's do this way first. And we have some pockets. Here's one of the little book covers that I made a little booklet out of. And then I have a tag with a tag with a tag attached. And here are a couple little tags in that pocket. And then, let me pull it the other way. Here we have some more of the eggs with the metallic. So I did some of the gold metallic and then the copper on either page. And these are little tuck spaces. We have a couple little tags here. This is the other part of the die cut. It has this little dragon in it, and I used him as a tuck place on that tag, and then he tucks behind the little egg too. Oh, and then I looked for some treasure chest. My customer wanted to include a treasure chest so that she could put a gift card inside of it. And I looked at Etsy, I looked several places, and I couldn't find anything that was the correct size. And like $6, it was too much. This one is worth $6 or more. I used this really fancy paper that I've used in several of my projects, and it feels like wood, and this piece just looks like something that would be inside of an old treasure chest. You can see I included all kind of metal filigree and then beads that look like jewels, and then the little lock piece on the top. So that was a lot of fun to make. Again, this is one of the Etsy dragons, and I did find someone who had a collection. These are actually dragons. You'll see these throughout the book, these dragons, and there's someone who actually made them, and they're dragons from the series Wings of Fire. So of course I got those. So that's the little pull, and there's a little opening here that she can put her gift card in, and it fits right behind the treasure chest. So I hope she's pleased with that. And on this side, I have a little wing brad. Some of the paper, this paper that I bought, came from a C collection. It was very hard to find dragon things that weren't of a particular series that was too telling, like How to Train Your Dragon or Dungeons and Dragons. Their sayings were often very related to that series, and it wouldn't work in this book. So it presented a challenge, but it was a fun challenge. I was able to, so this was a C book. This is supposed to be mermaid scales, but it works for me for dragon scales, and I believe this dragon's name is Clay, and so it represents the colors that he has, and it worked okay with the golden dragon. I forgot what she was, we just saw that. Sand dragon, I believe. So there's a couple little tuck places here. This is one card I could use from the Dungeons and Dragons that I purchased. I was able to use a piece of paper from that as well. There's a little tag back here, and then there's the description of the sand wing. I thought this was the mud wing. I don't know, I have to double check that. Anyway, there's that, and this is a little magnet here that you can tuck things behind, and then it opens up this way, and this is the other side of the magnet here, and there are mirrored photo mats. And let me move it over a little bit. Here we go. All right, so this page I had to redo actually. For some reason, on the original envelope cards I made, I had them facing this way. And once I got the book put together, it was almost impossible to pull the tags out. So I had to rip it apart, throw that away, and redo. But now you can see the tags with their little metal filigrees pull out just perfectly. Ta-da! And now it's not going to go, but I'm squeezing it. And then the little dragons sit in the little partial eggs that I die cut, and so they're removable to do whatever it is that we want to do. And over here we have a little pocket, and this is the explanation of the mud wing. Okay, so this guy must be Clay here, and let's see, there is a magnet that goes under here, and it's going to hide from me because it always does that when I'm on camera. And there's also a magnet that holds these tags together here. Okay, and then that closes back up, and all of these are secure with magnets. Oh, let me show you some paper that's coming up. very fancy paper, I made a little policy envelope. And this policy envelope is done in the graphic 45 style, only the die cut that I got is a Tim Holtz die. So I really like those, and a very expensive piece of paper that I bought. It was like $1.99 for the paper and $2.50 for the shipping. She sent 2 little pieces of paper, and so I used them in every way that I possibly could. And that was one of them, to make the little policy envelope. Here we have a little booklet, and on the front of the booklet there's a pocket with several little tags inside of it. And of course more little tags tucked under. And the saying, I was able to use this saying, it says, "You are magical." Even though that came out of the C one, I thought that that was apropos for the dragons. Okay. Close that back up. And here, I love this page. This was the dragon scales that I was able to use from the Dungeons and Dragons. And then with the scallops, I tried to replicate that on the pocket, on the top and bottom, and over here on the side. This has a magnet that lifts up. We have a little tag that goes under it. I decided that I wanted to cover the body of the tag with some glossy accents, because the wings made the skinny part of the body and the head way down a little bit, and I didn't want anything to happen to it. So now that's nice and dry. It can get tucked back under here. It goes like this. Isn't that adorable? And then we have a booklet that comes out, and I used the dragons of Puria, I guess is how you pronounce it, and that was a title from some of the cover pages. And then one of the dragons, of course, that I fussy cut out and added the stickles to. There's a little key tied to the binding here. There's a cute little door handle that you lift open, and that is the magnet, and then the booklet opens up. And I included on some of the pages some of the Etsy dragon stickers that were there. So there's plenty more room for journaling or photographs on that. And I made the pocket both on the bottom and the side because it is a little thicker of a booklet, and I wanted it to be able to have some support. And on this side, or right next to it I should say, there is a little envelope with a tag inside of it, and it has the description of the night wings, and all of this I bordered with some of Tim Holtz Distress inks. On this side we have this fancy tag. Here's another one of the magnets from Etsy, and this is connected to the book with this little belly band right here. I took one of my silver metal butterflies and clipped the wings off so I could put wings on the tag, and then I added a little wing charm there, and that just fits right here with the little belly band, and the magnet helps also to hold it as a stopper. And this side opens this way, and there's a triangle little tag or photo mat here, and another one of the few of the Etsy dragons. Here, this is just a little tag with one of the magnets on it. Here's some more metal filigree, and I added the title page, Wings of Fire, and I cut it out with one of my fancy die cuts to make a card. I really like the way that looks, especially with the Tim Holtz Distressed ink that I have on the outside. I added a little lace on the bottom of this just to kind of feminine it, excuse me, up a little bit. I didn't want it to look too dark. Okay, and so we close that, and of course those are all closed with magnets. And here we have the last side, and for this I used these little latches with brads. This is a little pull that comes out here. It's a bookmark, and with one of the Etsy dragons on the top. And it is a little tight right now, but it should be, and with use it gets looser. And you open up, and here we have a little booklet and a tag behind a double dragon stopper, and this little wing brad holds that in. Again, the shiny paper, that was from the Tim Holtz collection, and this is part of the mermaid collection. It works so well with these dragons, I just had to do it. So there's a little pocket over here, and we have a different type of little foldable with a little dragon as a button, and it says the Kingdom of the Sea, because that's what these dragons are, sea dragons of some sort. And it opens up like this for photomat and journaling spots. There's the little closure. Did I hide it from you? There we go. So there's little Brad, and it just wraps around like that. The legs got him. And tucks in the little pocket. And I also included one of the dragon magnets for the pocket. Each of these dragon magnets has a curious little saying on the back of it. Let's read this one for the fun. This one says, "I beg your pardon. I can be very diplomatic when I want to." Sounds like that one's maybe full of some spit and fire. Wonderful. All right, and then so it closes back up with the little brads and flips. You know, it's always a little more difficult when you're trying to do it upside down, right? Okay, and here I used another, this is the compass from the map, and a little piece from one of the back of the books that I just punched out in circles, and that's a little stopper for a tag with a tag. And again, there is the one of the book covers, and this page represents the dragon that's on the cover who lives in the rainforest. So I call this a stuffed tag. It opens up 3 ways. We have one of the Etsy dragons inside a little pocket. So there is a tag inside of a tag, and then there's this little booklet that is just kind of a fold out booklet with several pages for journaling or photos. So that tucks inside the pocket, and the little dragon tucks inside the pocket, and then it goes in the pocket of the stuffed tag. Opens up, we have some words from the book again, and they're colored on the outside with some distress ink from Tim Holtz. Here's a little stopper. It says the Rainforest Kingdom, because that's where she's from, and I really think this is clay, not from there, but I used the colors, and there she is right there. So that is one of my stuffed magnets, and I included some lace on the outside as well for that. Okay, so that is my booklet. I will call Kristen momentarily and tell her that I am all done and ready to deliver her books. But I do want to show you that I have also completed the cover of the Harry Potter book. I was waiting for the glasses to come in the mail. They never did come, so I went to Party City because she wants to use these as Christmas gifts. So I definitely needed to get it done. So they were $6.99, but that's okay. And I found this little owl. I made my daughter and I some cool witch hats when we went to Disney, and this owl was one left over. And when I read up on Harry Potter, I realized that there was more than just the white owl. There were several owls in there. So I thought that was perfect. I included some handmade flowers, and there's one metal flower with a prima rose on it. So that is the cover, and I'm pretty sure I already showed you the binding. So those are my 2 latest projects. Thank you for visiting my channel. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. That would help a lot. And I will include any resources in the description box below. Thank you and happy crafting.